Welcome to Backyard Bows. Hey, welcome to Backyard Bows. Today we're going to take a look at the Shift Lock by Tight Spot. So I think Tight Spot quivers across the board, not just this one are my favorite. You got a 5-arrow, 7-arrow, you got a 3-arrow that I love. It's really nice, small, compact. It's really light, and then you have the rise, and then you have the shift lock. So I think this one is my favorite for a couple different reasons, but if you know me and you've been following along, I like to switch my bows up throughout the year and even through my hunting season. I also like to switch my arrow setup slightly. So this thing accommodates everyone, every hunter, every setup, every arrow setup. You have a huge hood up here, which is about 2.5 inches, rock solid, but you can fit any broadhead in there. By the bottom gripper allows you to adjust with these wedges that you can screw in and out, which you can change your arrow diameter, 4mm, 5mm, 6mm, it accommodates everything. And then the actual quiver adjusts itself for different axle to axle lengths, and it will fit almost any bow. So the quiver itself is super solid, and most things that adjust, you lose durability. But when all of these screws are locked down, this thing is just as solid as any of the one pieces. It has 4 carbon rods on it. The grippers are really nice and solid, and like I just mentioned, this hood is probably one of my favorite. It's nice and deep, and it's hard as a rock. Let's talk about how versatile this thing is. When you put the locking bracket on your bow, it actually pivots, and you can adjust the angle of the quiver and how it sits on your bow to help you balance everything out perfectly. I love that. You can also move it front and back. In case you have a different riser design, it lets you put that arrow quiver really nice and far back on any bow and kind of helps you balance that weight. After you get that locking bracket set, you can adjust your lock on your actual quiver here so it's really nice and tight. And once you get it on, you can take that entire piece and slide it up and down so that you can get your hood right at the top of your bow. And then you can take that bottom gripper, which allows you to slide by loosening those 2 inner bolts, and you can adjust it to the length that you want. So let's talk about these grippers. You got one top and bottom. The top one you can actually take off and remove if you don't want it. I like them both on there. I like my arrows really nice and secure. If you're really trying to split hairs with some weight, you can remove that because the entire thing is a little bit heavier because it adjusts. I think it has a little bit more substance to it. But the bottom gripper is awesome. It has these wedges that go between each arrow. You can tighten and loosen them to adjust for the different diameter arrow that you're gonna use. I think a 5-arrow quiver is perfect. I don't ever see myself needing 7. The 3 quiver I do love, but sometimes, and if you've hunted enough, you realize I've shot more than 3 arrows in one sit. So the 2 other things that are my favorite about this is, one is the loop on top. So a little bit different than the rise where it was detachable. This is not. So if for some reason you didn't want it, you could cut it off, but I think this is one of the best ones you can get. It's about 3 inches wide, and as you know, you don't always have a perfect hook to hang stuff on in a tree. Sometimes you gotta snap a fucking branch off and just hang it on there, or find something to hang it on. So I like that this allows you to be able to hang on almost anything. It's quiet, it's maneuverable, it's easy on and off, it's durable. I love this loop on the top of this. My second favorite thing, and let's go ahead and attach it to this VTM I have right here. I love the maneuverability on the actual bow. So one, these quivers hug that riser tighter than almost anything. I would say the low profile quivers from Matthews do a little bit better job, but you can't get tighter than that. I love that. You can actually flip that mounting bracket on here to the other side, which will allow you, if you have clearance with your rest and your sight, but it allows you to flip it over and even hug that riser even more. So again, I love the way these things sit on the bow. You can also maneuver it forwards and backwards depending on the shape of your riser. I think these things are some of the best quivers you can get. One suggestion, the rubber pieces on the end of these carbon rods do pop off, so I would take some Gorilla Glue and I just kind of put a little bit in there and I just put them back on just to make sure those don't fall off. So the price points on these, you're gonna invest a little bit, but I think it's worth every penny. These things would last for absolute ever, and they go on every different setup. You can't, if you buy one of these ones, especially this shift lock, you can go from year to year to year, from bow to bow to bow, and you never have to change a thing. You know me, I love a deal, but I also understand that if you want something really nice and well made, you got to invest a little bit of your money in it. I think these are a great investment when talking about a quiver. Some of the best on the market. Tight Spot, take a look.